Greetings. Thank you for joining us today in our sixth episode of Ingest Quest. My name is Kaneda, and we're going to be exploring Spelljammer. I'll be playing Fitzroy Brumblebottom, a human ranger. With us, we have Benjamin Scott of Puffin Forest. You can find Ben here on YouTube by searching Puffin Forest. He is playing Nub Nub, the Bopi Druid. We also have Anthony Amato of Cardboard Fortress Games. You can get their games Resistor, Laser Riders, and Centipede at your local board game shop or online. He is playing Augustus Gloop, a Tiefling Ooze Warlock. We have Nate the Nerdarchy, Nate the Nerdarch of Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. He has been a creator and partner on Nerdarchy for over 4 years now and mostly works on adventure and homebrew products, the storefront on nerdarchy.com, Patreon rewards, and travels to conventions. He is playing Five Handstand, the Manted Arcane Trickster. Last but not least, we have Doug Vahovic, Nerditor-in-Chief at nerdarchy.com. Doug will be our guide and games master tonight in the world of Endless Horizons Spelljammer.
Hey, Nerdarchy here from Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds, and like Kanata said, we're playing 5th edition D&D in a Spelljammer setting of our own creation. And before we get started, we'll go over the house rules like we always do. Every character starts each session with inspiration. They can use their inspiration to give me the disadvantage on any roll as a Dungeon Master, and we are using the alternate from hit dice to heroics rules in the Nerdarchy store, which gives you alternate uses for your hit dice during combat and things like that. We're down Megan today, so we'll get to that in a moment. But to do a quick recap, the party has been slowly making their way towards Azure Space, a crystal sphere somewhere in the universe where their itinerary arranged by the producers of their Ingest Quest program have arranged for them to travel to. They are exploring the galaxy and all the culinary secrets they can find out there in the verse. So last time, ILLRigger had made it to the planet Urmania in Azure Space, where they were to meet with the Urmanian people, who apparently have a yearly gathering of tribes around the volcano tour that they worship. So ILLRigger is coming in for a landing on the planet's surface. And as it sets down, the bulk of the ship kind of sinks into the ground a little bit, and as you disembark on the ship, you see that you can tell the ground is kind of soft and spongy and almost porous, and it's very hot and humid here. It's a tropical environment, and there's tropical plants and trees thick all around. Captain Lauren, he sets ILLRigger down somewhat away from Tour, which you could actually see on approach was somewhat active with a plume of smoke coming out of the center of it. Circass is going to stay on the ship and spend some quality time with Arlosh, her small jammer companion that she hatched on the trip here. And also, yeah, the plume of the smoke makes the landing closer to the volcano difficult. And Lauren also has a particular dislike of the Armenians. He tells you he doesn't really want to deal with them. So the trek to the volcano will take a couple of hours. Is there anything you'd like to do before heading into the jungle, or to prepare, or how would you like to proceed?
I think what I would do, Fitzroy's just going to get a bunch of food and snacks and things that he thinks Circass would enjoy eating, and just make sure Circass is kind of set up with whatever she needs before he heads out. And then I probably feel like this is going to be like an eventless journey to the volcano, right? We're just probably going to be marching. All right, so I'm gonna get a bunch of like hiking snacks and stuff together, and I would like to bring a crossbow with me, please.
Absolutely, yeah. There is plenty of weapons in the ship's store armory. Anything the rest of you do in particular on this strange new world?
No, not really.
Oh. I make sure to empty out most of my pockets because I feel like lucky today when it comes to getting stuff. And I'll definitely snag any cool looking rocks along the way to where we're going.
Okay, yeah, there's definitely little pebbles and things, but yeah, like the ground it's like kind of squishing under your feet a little bit. Not a ton, but it's very soft and kind of like porous. And the trees are actually made of like a reddish hued wood, and there's like bean-shaped pads growing on a lot of them, sort of like right on the trunk themselves. And what's the party order of how you're traveling through the jungle? It's pretty. I mean, like you can see the top of the volcano, kind of like which direction to go, and it's probably like I don't know, a couple of hours hike.
I'll be in the front. I don't want anybody else to steal the rocks I'm going to get.
All right.
I feel like Nub Nub would be the best person.
What would happen is that I would be in the front and the back, and then the front and the back. I'm just kind of like running around as you guys are going. So we used to have this. So I used to have this dog when I was growing up who was a trail dog that would run out to the front and then run to the back and then run to the front and run to the back, but like keeping a lookout for the family. And that probably my character would be running around.
Okay.
All right, that sounds good.
One area.
Although
I realize that would be confusing for the GM. Like, where's Nub Nub when this fight's going down?
No, not at all. That makes sense. Sure.
Just roll it 50-50. You were in the front of the,
yeah. Or the back, yeah.
You guys are probably right on Fitzroy's heels,
Okay.
and trying to be helpful in a toady-ish way.
Sure.
I should also mention that in preparation for this,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the sun situation is, but he would probably have made some sunscreen ointment and put that on himself.
Sure.
Probably
Yeah.
some anti-bug sauce also.
It is day, but and this it is hot and humid, but the canopy provides some shade, but definitely having some sun ointment, some
He likes
unguent
the
on you.
humidity, but he doesn't like the insects.
Sure.
When I see him do that, I have flashbacks to the buttered up me spectacle that was last time.
Mm-hmm.
I test to make sure my bug spray works by making sure that Five-Hand Stand doesn't like the smell of it.
What sort of things do you use to make your bug ointment?
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Like just like a petroleum jelly sort of substance?
Yeah, probably
Okay.
something like that.
It's less slimy than you are already.
So I would say either Nub Nub or Stan can make a wilderness survival check to navigate the woods, and it'll be with advantage because you're sort of helping each other. So whichever one of you wishes to do that.
Okay. You can go.
You're
right.
in front, so
Sure.
you're probably more responsible. I would be navigating you out of where we're supposed to be going.
All right, that's a 15. Thank you, advantage.
Okay, so yeah, you don't have too much trouble navigating the jungle and avoiding pitfalls and twisted vines and things like that. But you do kind of detect after half an hour or so that there's some movement in the trees above. Nothing that really triggers your senses, but there's creatures up there sort of like swinging from tree to tree that you don't really see. You just kind of like hear rustling in the branches above.
All right, I'll let everybody know. There are creatures about. Be careful. I don't know if they want to eat us or if they'd be tasty. Question.
I would like to use speak with the animals, and if there's any like small creatures around, I would like to just kind of chat with them about like, oh, is there any like predators in this area? Like how are the predators? Anything scary here?
Sure. We'll say like a little lizardy type of creature just kind of like crawling up a tree and stops to turn its head in your direction as you look for creatures to speak with, and it says, well, this close to Tour, there's not too many dangers except the hunting folk. They sometimes they travel the jungle and sort of keep an eye on things, and we have to be quick to avoid them, and they like to eat my kind.
The hunting folk, do they look like us?
He kind of like looks around and he's like quizzically because you all look so different, and his eyes
And
settle.
I point to Fitzroy.
It's like He's like, no. He's like, they look more like you. They have the furry skin.
I give him the some food. Thank you, and then I give him a pet.
It like darts its tongue darts out and like snacks onto the food.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
It's like, oh, you too.
I hope you enjoy the tree and the sun. It's really nice outside.
He's like, it is a beautiful day. And he's like the rumbling though is getting a lot more what's the word I'm looking for, frequent the last few days from the volcano over there.
Oh yeah, we're going that direction.
It's like, oh well, be careful. He's like the Armenians they tend to keep a rap on the volcanic activity, but he's like they seem to be a little behind. Usually by now it's settled down.
Oh no. Well, be careful. You be careful too.
Okay. And yeah, he just kind of scurries up the tree, out of sight. And as you continue on, and make another wilderness survival check, Stan. And you can make it with advantage since Nub is.
That would be a 16.
Wow, you're doing good today. So as you're going along,
on one of the rolls.
Yeah. Well, you start to proceed forward, and your foot kind of sinks further down than you normally would in the spongy ground, and you kind of like take a moment and hold everybody up, and there's like a large part of the ground that seems to be like a different consistency than the ground around that you've been traveling on.
I'll step back into the ground that I know is good, and then like grab a stick or break a small tree and try and like poke around.
Okay, sure. And you do, and it kind of like as you poke it, it kind of like some of the ground sinks down a little bit, and also make a perception check.
Sure.
As you do that.
Ooh, that was not so good. A 4.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it just sort of like begins to, like, you feel like a little tug on the stick, and the surface of it sort of like begins to suck downwards into the ground.
I think something's trying to eat the stick.
I try and like grab him and like pull him back. Like, I'd stay away from that area.
Okay, you're able to do that, and Fitzroy, why don't you make a perception check as well?
Oh, good gravy.
Particular.
Perception. There we go. +5, 23.
So as the stick kind of like breaks the surface of this thing, you smell like a sweet scent in the air that kind of like a little puff comes out from where the surface cracks, and you just kind of detect like a sweet scent around in the air from that.
All right. How unsteady does this ground around this like void area that he's poking at look?
You can kind of like, now that Stan has sort of detected the discrepancy, you can kind of see where it like where it kind of gives way to this large patch of other sort of earth, and it looks like the spongy ground is much more like a fine powdery sort of covering over the ground here.
Oh, that's not good. Stan, Nub, keep a little bit of distance. Nub, you want to get in a position to grab a hold of me? I'm going to take a little peek at this.
Okay. It's grab a hold. Like, I'll hold out the stick, and then if you want to like hold onto the stick.
Okay.
And then.
I figure you've got. I just have faith that you'll figure out a way to fix things. So it's just weird faith in Nub that he'll take go south.
He's a stalwart protector.
Exactly.
With his red stick.
Masters, why don't you tie a rope around one of you and jump in?
This guy, always thinking. I guess, yeah, there's no reason not to be safe. I'll wrap a rope around me and hand off the end, and I'm just gonna creep in as close as I feel like I can get. If I sink a little bit, I'm okay with that. But if I'm like, we're talking knee deep, I'm heading out. And I just want to try and investigate and see what's there.
Okay, so yeah, you walk about 5 feet out into it, and I need you to make an athletics check.
Oh, dear.
Huh.
Oh, nice. I know I have to keep looking my stuff up. 17.
So yeah, you actually can like you're kind of able to distribute your weight properly. You do sink down maybe about to like your shin length in it, and that smell is much more strong now because there's more displaced of this powdery substance on the ground.
Would I associate the sweet smell with anything, or is it just like
make a cooking utensils check?
Ooh, I'm good at this one. Oh, and I rolled an 18. I killed that.
Yeah, it's like raw unfermented cocoa powder.
Really interesting. That would be a very like kind of interesting. All right. I'm going to, just because I can't imagine why something like that would be coming out. I guess my brain would be like, well, there must be a plant in there or something in there that smells like that. So I'll just, holding onto the rope tightly, I'll put one hand in and dig around and see what I come up with.
Okay, make another strength athletics check.
Oh, that one did not go well. So a 7.
Okay, so yeah, you bend down to put your hand in. Your hand does go in, and you kind of like lose your balance, and you get like you kind of feel like being sucked downwards, and not only like is your hand kind of like you try to pull it back and it's a little stuck, but you're also sink down like just past your knees now.
Oh, be awesome, guys.
Okay, pulling.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug, I want to like, and like put my finger in it and then give it a taste.
It tastes like chocolatey, a little bitter, like it's not too sweetened, but it has a faint chocolatey taste to it.
I'm gonna use the aspect of the beast so that way I get the strength of a bear.
Okay.
But nothing else.
Okay, yeah. So make a strength check with your bear strength, infusing your.
So Nub Nub gets slightly larger, and his muscles get like kind of tense up as he does the strength check. That is going to be a 19.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're like Fitzroy actually like yanked off your feet and like with a, like a sucking motion sound. You're just like pulled back out of this stuff, and a large cloud of the powder goes like spewing into the air.
My character is still the same size and looks mostly normal. It's just like
He's digging down deep.
I'll kind of like wipe myself off and stand up, and I'm gonna pat Nub Nub on the shoulder. Always count on my Nub Nub, I tell you. And then I guess I'll turn to you, Gustus. You just ate whatever that is. So,
yeah, it's pretty good stuff. I have some jars here, sir. If you want to take some samples, I think we might be able to use it as a flavoring.
I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea. You don't feel ill or queasy. Your head doesn't hurt. Because I just saw you like eat something off the ground. Like, I don't know.
He looks a little confused by the concept of queasy.
Yeah. Like, I'm always like that, aren't I? Man?
I feel great.
All right, very well. Yeah, let's definitely get some of this together then. And I guess I'm gonna try and like help you, Gustus, collect a little bit of this.
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
We have some like pop top jars we could fill up with what I imagine is like dark chocolate cocoa dust here.
It's quick cocoa.
Quick, it's Nestle Quick.
What are you up to while this is all going on, Stan?
I want to join in the gathering a few bits of things, but I'm also going to look around.
Okay, make a perception check.
Okay. I believe that is a 14.
All right, so yeah, you are gathering some nearby unusual looking stones and this apparently cocoa powdery substance, and as a consequence, nobody fails to notice the large four-armed skinned and white furred ape that swings down off of a vine and lands behind you, roaring. It's probably about, I don't know, 10 feet tall. And it just like slams down on the ground behind y'all and just roars. And it's like got four arms that are just beating its chest, and it attempts to, it's going to wade into your midst and attack. So we can roll initiative, but it will have a surprise.
I guess I'm going for a knife and yelling for Nub Nub.
All right.
Nub Nub, problem.
Your idyllic exploration is interrupted.
I got a 3.
Okay.
Wait. I got a 5. I'm sorry.
You often go last.
Yeah, I'm not great. Well, I had like a ton of awesome rolls in the beginning. Sure. Things just, they were like, that's all the good karma you get today. You're done.
Usually you get awesome rolls with like cooking and stuff like that, and then when it's just like anything dangerous, it's like
throw
not
it
too
out
good.
the window.
I got 10.
All right. That's Stan and Nub Nub.
18.
Man, Nub Nub. All right.
22.
Oh, I think you said 42. I was like, what? Is that even possible?
No, I can only get a 28.
5-man Stan. It's got Quicksilver speed.
I got that, whatever it is, alertness or something. It's amazing.
Okay, so it is going to be a surprise. So the
Do I get surprised?
and Nub Nub, you weren't actually gathering the stuff. You were just kind of like in the back, keeping an eye on things. Right? Or is that's how I was imagining? But is that the case, or were you like?
Yeah, I was in the back.
Okay, so this thing is just gonna wade up on you and just like start swinging all its arms at you because you are the closest target.
I actually can't be surprised, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, well then actually you would go first. It's a surprise round, then
Okay.
you can act first. So you actually like are startled and whip around and see this thing.
Go
Okay.
Stan.
I will immediately chuck one of the throwaway daggers that I tend to keep with me.
Okay. Go for it. Armor class is 13 to beat.
Well, that's good, because I got a 14. I was like, I'm going to miss this sucker. I doubt I'm going to get a sneak on it, so I'll just...
Nah, it's probably...
Yeah.
It had yet to close the distance.
Yeah, I'll just do the regular.
Sure.
9 damage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so you just fling this
7.
thing.
7.
Okay.
Adding wrong.
And it roars in pain as the dagger sinks into its shoulder, and even more enraged.
And then I'm going to hide behind a tree.
Okay.
You just
leaving Nub Nub to take the full brunt of this thing.
He'll
so
be
it's
fine.
gonna start making its way towards you because you had heard it, but it's gotta go through Nub Nub to get to you. So let's see. What is your AC? Just so I don't have to ask you a million times. Just Nub Nub.
Talking to me, my
Yeah.
AC is 15.
Okay, it's a miss.
Nub Nub goes Hulk mode, and we win. Please give us XP. No.
So actually, 3 of its arms managed to just connect with you,
Okay.
Oh.
and that is going to do a total of 16 damage.
Ouch.
This is just 3 of its arms just like club against you, and then it's gonna actually move past you towards Stan. So you can get an attack of opportunity if you want, because it's basically it's just trying to like hit you out of the way.
Okay, so that's because I still have my beast strength.
You
so
do?
that is going to be a 22 to hit it.
It definitely hits.
For 7 points of damage as I just clock it with a strike.
Oh, you do. You wallop on this thing as it passes by, and then it is actually your turn. Was up next.
So I just kind of go like, I need help, and I do a whistle, and coming out of the forest is a pack of 8 wolves that immediately surround it.
All right.
Your animals.
Okay.
So there's and they just leap out of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to roll their initiative. Their initiative is going to be a 9.
All right. So they go on their own turn.
And it's like of the wolves, like 2 of them are like really serious, and then there's some wild dogs there, and then there's one called Max who's just like very overweight. He's kind of these stubby legs, and like he knew I needed help, so he decided to come. But really, I mean,
they heard the call. All right.
I predict Max critically hitting.
Yeah, he's gonna be the MVP here.
Yeah.
You guessed this. What was your initiative again? I forget. It was higher than 9, wasn't it?
It was 10.
Yeah. Okay. So then you would be up next, and so you hear Nub Nub emit the call of the wild, and these wild dogs come, and this 4-armed ape is making a beeline for Stan.
All right. I mean, I'm pretty surprised by a giant ape jumping down in our midst here, so I probably throw my hands up, and a bunch of cocoa dust goes everywhere. And then I'm probably just gonna Eldritch try to throw a glob at it.
Okay. Is it an Eldritch Splash?
There's only one target, so I don't want to hit my allies. So
Yeah.
I won't do that. Let's see. I'll focus it a little bit. A little jelly bean of glass. That's a 21 AC.
That is.
Nice.
Sadly, minimum damage, one stinking little point of damage.
Oh man.
It was a jelly bean.
Yeah.
It wasn't really.
You're like, I needed a bigger jelly bean.
But then I guess also Moisty, who's probably floating around here, will try to hit it with a scare effect.
Okay.
Mm.
That's
Make a,
is that wisdom save?
Yeah. DC 10.
I got a 19.
It passed.
It is unafraid of moisty.
Okay.
All right. And then it is the wolf's turn.
all right. So
Let loose the
right.
dogs of war.
So the wolves are going. Advantage if another wolf is nearby. So I'll do the first 4 wolves go, and that's going.
Oh yeah, they got pack tactics. Damn.
Yeah. So doop. Max is going to be critting.
It's
Of course.
I don't know
Okay.
what to tell you. It just
So
makes sense.
So it's going to be one of the attacks is going to be a 17 to hit, then it's going to be a 15 to hit, and then it's going to be a 19 to hit, and then the last one's a crit. So
All
they're
right.
all 4 of it. Okay. So
Yeah, 13 is the AC.
so that's going to be 7 points of damage from one of the wolves. 8 points of damage from another wolf, and then that's 5 points of damage from the other wolf, and the one that crit. How do you do crits? It's the
Double the dice.
oh, double the dice. Okay,
Yeah.
6 plus 6, 12. Max is going to do 14 damage on it,
Wow.
and then it's going to have to give me 4 strength saves.
Yeah. To be not knocked prone, right?
Yeah,
Okay, 4 strength save.
it needs an 11 to beat.
I got a 21.
Beat. So
19,
okay, success.
15, and 14. So I think
Okay.
one of those fails, right?
No, it needs an 11.
Oh.
So, yeah. So then that was 4 of them. The other 4 are gonna go.
Oh, sweet Mary.
Oh, there's 8? Well, oh my
There's
god.
8. Yeah, I get to summon 8.
Wow.
Okay, so that's going to be doop. They have advantage. So that's going to be a 20 to hit, 20 to hit, 15 to hit, and 15 to hit.
Those hit.
Okay. So that's going to be 5 damage, 6 damage, 8 damage, and 4 damage. And that's going to give me another 4 strength saves.
That is not necessary. As it tumbles into it pitches forward into the quick cocoa, and begins sinking down into it.
God. I just imagine the pack of wolves all leaping onto the creature, grabbing onto random appendages, and then Max, by virtue of laziness, is under the creature at the most unfortunate location and just chomps directly up. Like that's I just
Or it's like Max is going behind and just like trips them and then
Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, this thing just pitches forward, and a huge cloud of this cocoa dust goes into the air all around you as it just begins like getting sucked down into this dangerous hazard in the jungle. What happens to the wolves? Do they stay around for a while? Is there like a duration?
For an hour.
An hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, good job, you. And I start handing out some like food to them.
And
like,
they agree.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Patrice. Thank you, Max. Oh, it's like I pick Max up. He's like, yeah.
For some reason, I'm picturing like a pug or something for Max.
Yeah, one of them's a corgi.
Did you turn into a corgi at one point?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I have turned into
This is a huge monkey creature, right? You said like 10 feet tall.
It's like 10 feet tall, yeah.
Can I'm just flabbergasted. The wolves just took this thing down. Can I like hack off an appendage before this thing gets slurped up in the hole and feed the wolves with?
Do you want to go
bits?
diving?
I mean, it would be your turn next. I mean, you could take it's not like it's immediately, out of sight. It's just kind of like sinking down into the stuff.
Hey, I'm not much on eating sapiens myself, but I figure I could hack off a limb and feed the wolves. They were incredibly useful.
I mean, they're summoned wolves. They're going to go back to their plane at some point.
Yeah.
But
But he might not even know that.
Yeah,
As far as you know, just 8 wolves just came out of the forest.
It's true, and that's why my action is to slink away as quietly as I
Well,
can.
the second I start petting them, and I'm like, oh, who's that good boy?
You're like rolling around on the ground.
And I start going like that.
Yeah, all I know is that a pack of deadly animals just came out of the woods at Nub Nub's behest and slaughtered this thing. So I'm going to feed them. They'll go home with full bellies to their home plane. I don't know.
Please don't
I
let me.
am taking care. At least I'm feeding them to pay them for that.
I'm still
Okay.
taking my other action and climbing the tree that I ran around just in case.
Make a athletics check. Unless, do you have any kind of like climb speed that I don't know about?
I don't think I have a climb speed. I have 4 arms though.
That's true.
Mm.
That's a 13.
Who's that good boy?
Not very impressive.
Would you roll?
13.
You're able to clamber up the tree. I mean, it's not like a smooth surface. Actually, like several of those bean-shaped pads, kind of like you knock them off as you're climbing up the tree. And up on the branch, you actually like pull yourself over a branch, and there is a creature there. It is a humanoid, fur-covered creature. It has a bow in its hand and a cat-like face, and it actually seems a bit surprised by your scrambling up next to it. And it says like, "Ho there! Like, who are you?"
I am called Stan. Was that your pet 4-armed monster down there?
No. The Giralan is a dangerous threat in these parts. He's like, we've actually been watching you. We are not used to seeing outsiders, and we were prepared to intervene if needed. They are very dangerous, but your friend seems to have handled it quite easily.
Who's that good boy?
Yeah.
Yes, he's doing rather well. You have been watching us for guards? Thank you.
Yes, we do not see many visitors. My people saw your great snake come from the sky. He's like, "My name is Pricklepaw." He's like, where have you come from?"
My name is Tick Chack Tacla, but you can call me Stan. We came from the ILLRigger, which was that, I guess, flying snake thing.
Yes, we have not seen such a thing in many years. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that's what he says. He's like, a similar conveyance came years ago to visit with the Armenian people, but we have not seen anything of the like in a long time.
Well,
It's
would you like
and
to...
he points to Fitzroy, and he's like, the people that came from that looked like him.
Well, we are exploring for What do we? I say it down to Fitzroy, just to him. What are we here for again? I've just been collecting rocks. They're really nice here.
I have no context for what he just said.
Yeah, that's true.
Food. We're here for food, Stan. Why are you asking me questions? Like, get out of my head, Stan.
Okay. So I talk back to the cat person and say, we're here for different types of food. We're on a quest for food.
He says like, oh, then you are probably come to visit the Romanian people. He's like, they gather each year and engage in their strange customs. He's like, we have never quite gotten along with them, but they believe their rituals are somehow necessary for the safety of this planet.
Well, it is kind of dangerous here so far.
It says, yes, I saw that your hairless friend there almost got taken by the quick cocoa. It's like, that is but one of several dangers in the forest.
One of them said it was tasty, but I don't know. Do you eat it? I don't think I'm going to.
All creatures on this planet kind of exist from the bounty of Tur, but my people cannot taste such sweet things. It is not in our nature. We do not partake in the bounty of Tur, but many other creatures do.
Is it poisonous?
He's like, he says, no, it's just simply not a sensation that my people have any. We cannot taste the same flavors that the other creatures do.
That's so sad.
Trivia: cats actually cannot taste sweet things.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
Don't have
I knew.
And not Brian knew that too. He's
I knew that.
Tree druid.
Well, I will tell my companions about you, and we'll just know you're here. Is that fine?
Yes, and Pricklepaw actually kind of he points out a path to take around the quick cocoa, and he kind of like explains to you that they are hunters, and he tells you like that there's they have several like traps and things in the jungle. He's like, I will my people will continue to watch you and help you avoid our traps. You seem like you are not the kind of creatures that we would hunt. We basically protect the jungle, and our tribe's people live in it.
Excellent, thank you. And then I'm going to point to about 5 or 6 seed pods that you were talking about that were on the tree. Are those yours?
No, they belong to the jungle. They
okay.
are.
As soon as he says no, I start collecting them.
I'm having my dogs and the wolves like sniff around if anything is tasty.
Yeah, I mean, there's like little edible plants and things like that. I don't know if
if the wolves
moves with.
They're probably eating the big.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're probably gnawing on
the gorilla.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Nub Nub some good berries, and that'll be 10 hit points back.
All right. I did a cure wounds on myself.
Okay.
Oh, did you already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Stan, make an insight check. Oh, sorry. Make an insight check.
Must be their alien nature. 6.
Okay, yeah, it probably is just, it's a new creature, so its mannerisms are going to seem strange to you either way.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to hold up my hand and then basically, like, make some kind of bye gesture and then hop down.
Okay, and it calls down to you. It's like, if you skirt the edge here, there is a river that runs along through the jungle that should lead you directly to Tur and avoid most of our snares in the jungle.
Okay, I direct the companions to the space, the trail that they said.
Sure.
Oh,
and you, I mean, I'm sure you guys could have looked up and seen that Stan was up, so like he was totally invisible to you.
I was just talking to one of the cat-like people that are here. They've been watching us, and they're going to give us a direct way to go to Tur. without the traps and the nasty sand thing here.
The quick cocoa.
The quick cocoa.
The evil quick cocoa.
I'm only now realizing that there actually is a brand Quick Cocoa. When I was preparing my notes.
Free advertisement.
Yeah. Nestle, if you want to sponsor this show.
You just hear no.
Yeah.
I think that was a yes.
So yeah, sure. If you'd like to continue on, you can make another survival check with advantage. Whoever's.
I'll say for the next hour, the dogs are going with us.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're just like doop-a-doop. We're traveling as a group, and then following around us, like swirling like back and forth, is the rest of the dogs. We're a pack now.
It's
Yeah,
8 dogs.
Yeah.
Do they set off any traps?
No, the path that Pricklepaw pointed you on is kind of like avoids the snares and things.
So he seems honest.
I
I got an 8.
So far, Okay, so yeah, you're traveling along, and you kind of eventually get caught up a little bit, but you do find the river that Pricklepaw had pointed out. But along the way, the dogs do stop and kind of hold up, and they all sort of look off to the right of the trail that you're following, and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of look alerted.
Bird dog.
Yes, right. Yeah, right. They're kind of indicating there might be something over there.
All right, let's go see what's over there.
Okay.
And so I'm sneaking, and as I'm sneaking, it's like I have all the dogs going like this as well, and then I got Max under the arm.
So you're down there creeping along with him.
I'm gonna, after the monkey incident, I'm gonna crack out my crossbow and just follow up, kind of a little bit behind Nub, just kind of covering.
Okay.
I'm just on edge after a giant 9-foot-tall monkey beat the doo-hoo out of him. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Nub, make a stealth check as you are creeping along with these things.
Okay. Stealth check.
And you can make one for all the wolves as well.
Okay. 13 for the stealth check. Now for the wolves, that's going to be a 10 for the, 10.
Okay,
so what I'll assume is that all the wolves were super quiet because they've done this before, stalking, so they're like, "Rah." And then Max is just crack. He was hitting the thing, just
can't be bothered,
and then looks around
Doug, Moisty will stay kind of flying up in the canopy with invisibility going, keeping an eye out.
Okay. Make a perception check for Moisty.
Go Moisty.
Perception, what is it? I don't know. Well, I rolled a 17, so it's probably pretty good.
So what Moisty sees ahead is that the ground becomes the ground and the canopy under the canopy gets really soggy and boggy and waterlogged up ahead of where Nub is creeping towards.
He's probably pretty excited about that.
That's true. So Nub, as you and the dogs are creeping forward, you're making a little bit of noise, but it's not outrageous or anything. And you do notice too, that your paws kind of sploosh down into a really just fetid kind of boggy ground here. It's very waterlogged. And make a perception check.
Okay. So that is going to be perception 17.
Okay, so up ahead, probably about 50 or 60 feet ahead, you can see that the waterlog actually gives way to it's just straight up pond kind of swampy area, but you see the peaked roof, like a stone peaked roof of something coming up out of the water, probably about 10 or 15 feet.
So it looks like a structure of some kind, or a house.
Yeah, and it's just covered in vines, but it looks like the top, the peaked roof of one, like a narrow peaked roof.
Does it look like something that's sunk into the water, or it's just...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I kind of go back a little bit to the others, and I explain, like, I saw something over there. There was some kind of like a roof of something, a house, kind of among the swamp.
Curiosity is brutal.
I mean, you don't. Like these are just things in the jungle. You don't have to do anything.
No.
What's in the box?
Yeah, exactly. What's in the box? You don't want to.
The real trap is the things I'm presenting to you.
Yeah, we could just go up and talk to them.
The what?
If there's someone that lives in this particular house or something.
Oh no, it looks like the top of a house that has sunken into.
Oh, that has sunken in.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it's just the top of it peeking up out of the top of the water.
Yeah, we could just go explore it.
Yeah.
I'm up for exploring.
I am not confident in my ability to navigate that swampy ground. I guess I'll just move up with my crossbow, and if Nub Nub is like if you're like curiously looking forward, then looking back like meh, I'll be like, all right, Nub Nub, dive in.
Yay!
I'll just hang back.
I'm going with my pack of wolves in to the area.
Okay, sure. Well, the ground gives way where it's actually like you'd have to be swimming too. So, do you want to swim out towards the thing?
All right. Yeah, I can go into the water and start swimming over there.
Could I climb trees to get over to there?
It's kind of thinner because the trees that are growing in the ground like kind of give way to this swampy area, but you could get a little closer. You couldn't get like right up on it though.
Okay.
What I think I might do is just have the dogs and the wolves stay back, and then I could just transform into like an octopus, go in there, see if I can find anything of interest, and then take stuff.
Okay.
Moisty will accompany him.
Okay.
He can switch to like a swimming form if he needs to. So,
like a sea slug.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll watch from the trees.
Oh, okay. You kind of lagged out there for a second.
Oh, I'll watch from the trees.
Okay, sure. So, Nub Nub, you do swim out towards the thing. The water's really stinky and just kind of like, swampy and things like that.
Yeah.
But as you get closer, you see that it is indeed the peaked roof of some sort of primitive stone structure. Can't really see too far down, but it does look like there is a larger structure beneath there.
Okay, gotcha. So once again, I'm an octopus, so I start swimming down,
Okay.
and I look and see if there's any like openings there that I could swim into it.
Sure. And you see that it is basically a simple structure. It looks sort of like maybe, for lack of a better term, like a stone gazebo. I mean, it's not like a big building. It's just kind of like the roof that was sticking out has pillars that go down into the ground, and there is a stone platform that they're connected to. And down on there, you see like several moss-covered like stone tablets that are at the bottom, like under the water, laying on this stone floor of the.
All right. I would like to try and wrap them with my tentacles and then try and swim up to the surface.
Okay, and they're not huge or super,
heavy
or anything. So yeah, you're able to do that.
And I just kind of like set them on the. It's like basically what I want to do is go down, see if I find something. If I find something interesting, I grab it and then pull it up to the surface and like set it on the roof.
Okay, yeah, you're able to do that.
Okay, so once I found stuff that looks interesting,
yeah, there wasn't really anything like this down there. It was just kind of like mold and moss-covered stone down there.
So I grab the stone and then I swim back and then I just kind of plop it there and then transform back to normal.
Okay.
I will use Moisty as an eraser to eat the moss off of the stone tiles.
And he loves it. It's waterlogged moss. He's just like, sucks it off. And there's like etched writing on them. What languages do people speak offhand?
Oh my god. A bunch.
Oh, really?
Common and abyssal.
Okay.
Mine's just common, and then the language of the Bopi. I think I said Gnomish.
If I can find my
It's the language of the heart.
That's right.
Also, gotta be out for a second. I'll be back in a few
Okay,
seconds.
sure.
I have no idea where I put my languages. There they are.
The Bopi language should be called Mati.
Orc, Common, Giant, and Goblin. Those are what I've got.
I actually have Dwarven as well as common. That's it.
It doesn't look like any of those.
Lame. Okay. What are we talking about for weight here? Is this a kind of thing like I could like backpack it?
Yeah, they're not like Ten Commandments tablets. They're probably just like, maybe like stone, they're like slate more than stone. It's like
Okay.
sheets of slate upon which.
So these were practical size tablets that a
Yes.
scry could have realistically used rather than.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're not like Moses coming down from.
Okay. All right. If we're
Right.
all staring at them quizzically, I think I'm gonna like stuff them in my backpack.
You probably want to wrap them up, right?
Yeah, wrap something around them and stash them. Maybe the locals here can read this.
Do we want to kind of pick one up and wave it in the air just to make sure the cat people aren't getting offended that we're taking them?
I think that's a pretty smart move, right?
I mean, they're supposed to be watching us, so if this is like their holy text, we give them a chance to say something now.
Yeah. Real quick, Nub, what languages do you speak?
Common and Gnomish.
Which is
Okay. All
Bopi.
right. Bopey. Okay. Is the cat person that Stan was talking to? Is that person around?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
I could yell for them.
We're being shadowed. That is not super awesome. 11.
You don't see any of them now. You want to just shout something, Stan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just mentally shout at them.
Up to
Pricklepaw. Are you around, Pricklepaw?
Oh, go ahead.
Also, if he's not nearby, I was gonna try an animal messenger, like summon a bird and then have the bird go take a message to him.
Okay, yeah, you do not get a response, Stan, but you can definitely send an animal messenger. And does the messenger carry a message back? Is it like a...
Let me just double check. Doop-a-doop.
He's sending a tweet.
That's a D&D tweet. They had it first, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, unfortunately they can't reply, so it would just be like I would send a message which said like, oh, we're by this swamp and there's this building there. We found this tablet with strange languages. If you want to help us translate it, you can stop by.
Okay. So, do you travel back to the more firmer ground? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could say it's like we're by the road at this point, by the boulder where it starts, the slope starts going up or something like that.
Okay. So yeah, back on firmer ground, Pricklepaw does kind of drop down from one of the trees. He's like, "I'm sorry, people tend to avoid large bodies of water. We don't really like that too much." But he says, "Oh, that is an ancient shrine of the Armenian people, not ours." He's like, "Whatever you have found there is of no concern of ours."
Okay.
You show him the slate, or?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely gonna crack one out. Like peace offering style. Like when we're approaching Pricklepaw, I'm gonna take them out. Like, look, we found these, but we're not gonna take them if you don't want.
Sure. Yeah, he doesn't seem too interested in them, and he also does not. He's actually kind of like hangs his head. He's like, people do not use written language. I don't have any idea what these symbols mean."
Okay. All right.
He's like, "But they are not of our tribes."
we will not bring these up later. Then let's wait. Let's wait and bring these up with discretion.
All right. All right. So continuing on the
So when he comes out, I give him some food. It's in my peoples. Whenever I say thank you, I just give someone food.
And he reaches into his pouch and pulls out like a little. It looks like a little uncut stone that's got a leather strap wrapped around. It's probably only like maybe that big, and he hands it to you. And he's like, "In my people, we do not take anything without giving as well." And he hands you that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Right now on my character sheet, I got a thing.
This is mine now, and I am keeping
to me, I think it's another giving stone.
Oh, I'm trying to get you to save all your giving stones, sir.
I think you guys have quite a few.
How's that working out for you?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So you continue on. Actually, give me one more wisdom survival check, Stan, as you are approaching the edge of the jungle.
That would be a total of 20.
Okay, yeah. So you managed to stay on the path and follow the way that Pricklepaw had indicated, and the jungle gives way to an open air. You emerge from the canopy and you see the volcano tour looming. Not too far beyond. I'd say about this time the wolves would probably be going back to their plane. Unless there's anything you'd like them to do before.
I just give them belly rubs and some food, and I say good job. And then Max in particular has probably received a lot of loving. And then it's like as we're walking along, Max was probably tired, so I had to pick him up and kind of. But then anyway, they gone.
Yeah, they as they're walking back and fading back to wherever they come from, Max turns around and gives you the last puppy dog eyes.
In my mind, I always imagine summoning spells when the creature despawns. Essentially, I always imagine it like a video game, like Diablo. So their despawn is literally a death animation. So they just like
get a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
As they just.
Now they would go into the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at least I didn't have to see that.
Yeah, right. And Max gives you that last loving look. So, this it's a pretty large volcano, and on the slopes of it, you see even at this distance, like the assembled tribes of Romanian people. They've just got colorful banners, and it looks like they've set up like sort of temporary camps here. Like they don't permanently live here; they just kind of gathered here. And there's hustle and bustle, and there's probably hundreds of these people. And if anyone wants to give a perception check, I can see what else you might see.
Doug, I'm gonna be so disappointed if there isn't a giant walk on top of this.
I hope I don't disappoint you.
Volcano stir fry.
If you wanted to make it super accurate, it would be the fire that's used for wok cooking is literally called Breath of the Dragon. That is its actual name. So.
Well, there is a clue in the episode title.
19 perception.
So yeah, you kind of like peer closely and focus your rangery senses, and you like can kind of tell like they're actually like to be like red-skinned humanoids. Can't really tell too many details from here, but you're seeing a lot of like bright red and orange skin.
And what we know about these guys is that they're a little primitive, and the one dude on our boat doesn't like them for some reason. But otherwise, we do think we are going to be able to interact with them. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not like savages or anything like that, as far as you know.
Okay, like red is in Crayola crayon.
Yeah, like bright.
Wow, bright, beautiful red. Okay, cool.
Tamarind.
Yeah, I like that.
Not tamarind. I'm sorry. Tandoori red.
So yeah, it's probably like a good 20-minute, half-hour walk out, up to where they are. So is that are you just proceeding up towards there, or is there anything that you wanted to do, or?
No, we're just proceeding up there, probably.
Okay.
Oh man, Tandoori would be such a good character name.
I'm just so interested in what's going on in this little kind of village now that I'm just.
Sure.
Maybe I picked up my pace a little bit when we got closer. Now that I've actually seen the place.
Okay, so yeah, as you get closer, the ground starts to incline on the slopes of Tour where they have all gathered, and ever so often there's like a low rumble. You can feel it in the ground from the volcano, and as you get closer, you see that there are not. They're actually like reptilian humanoids. They have clothes and everything, them brightly lit, brightly colored garments and things, but they are like red and orange, scaly. Newt-like humanoids, and here out of the jungle canopy, a little less humid because the plants aren't holding in, but it is very warm. And at the like before the gathered masses, it's actually like several of these entities that are brandishing like black iron spears, not dangerously. They're just
have
kind
them.
of
They're
like
armed
on the
with them.
perimeter. Yes, right. And they kind of like arrange themselves on the path leading further ahead as you approach. And they say, as you get closer, they're like, "Halt! Like, who are you to come so close to Tur?"
Greetings. My name is Fitzroy from Ingest Quest, and we are here to experience the bounty of your world, to taste your food. And I kind of reach back to Augustus, and you got a jar handy, Augustus? One of the jars, please.
I pour some goop out of it. Yeah, here you go. I'll take a napkin and rub it out and clean it for a second.
It's all that. No, I just grab it with the goop, the chocolate, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're just here. We're explorers to take a look around, and we'd be more than happy to pay you for your trouble.
The one in the front is like, it pricks up when you say Ingesquis. He's like, "Oh," and he kind of turns to the others and speaks in a language I don't know if you understand. And he's like, "Oh, we have been graciously waiting for you." He's like, "Wait right here for just a moment." And one of them runs off into the tribe, into the throng of people.
Hey, Doug.
Yes, sir.
I feel like I know what these are. Can my character make an Arcana check or nature or whatever would it be?
You can make a nature check, sure.
I'm gonna hand the jar back to Augustus and
12.
12. Yeah. I mean, you've not super familiar with them, but I mean, you have heard of creatures like this before. They are reptilian humanoids that tend to live in places that are very warm. They can be dangerous in large numbers, but as the any specifics about this culture in particular, you don't really know.
Okay.
I mean, out of game, yeah, they're fire newts, but they're not like
Sure.
Yeah, they're not necessarily the evil slaving type.
Okay.
That is in the monster manual. They could be, but
let's hope not.
But as many things in this game, we tend to play around with the lore a bit. Were you gonna ask something, Fitzroy? I thought I heard you say.
No, I just gave back the jar of cocoa to Augustus, and I'm waiting to see how this plays out. There are a lot of villagers here.
Yeah. So. Oh, you handed them the jar, right?
Sir, we should have brought the other 3 Giralon arms as an offering.
They all kind of dip a webbed finger into there, and they're just like greedily like.
Okay.
They're like, "Oh yes," they're like, "We see that you have already appreciated the bounty that Tur has to offer."
Indeed, this is a wonderful, magical place. We encountered a very large creature in the woods with many arms. We also encountered some feline folk along the way here who were very warm and welcoming to us.
When you mention the feline folk, one of them actually like spits a glab of like hot like goo onto the ground. He's like, "Tah!" He's like, the tabaxi. He's like, they do not appreciate the splendor of Tour. And kind of gestures towards the volcano. Nub, what were you? Where are you in this whole scenario?
So honestly, I just have my stick, and I'm just kind of listening, and then when he says that, I step in. I say like, what do you mean they don't appreciate? What do you mean they don't appreciate the tour?
They actually kind of, as you step forward too, they particularly like look at your red stick, and they seem very impressed by that, and they're like, oh, and they kind of like look you up and down and sort of like defer to you a little bit, and they are like talking excitedly amongst each other in their language, and then they're like, oh, they're like, the tabaxi cannot they do not partake of all that Tour has to offer. They just they do not get along with us very well or appreciate the rituals that we gather to do, but they're really impressed by that red stick, and they're like, you are a great warrior, yes?
Maybe. Yes, I am a warrior of the Bopi peoples. Sent out.
Am I? And I'm kind of taking in all of this, that they're super impressed. Well, I don't know how things are going, and I don't really have a sense of things. So I'm Stan. I'm in your brain.
Is that what you say?
Stan, your brain. Stan, tell Nub he needs to do all the talking right now. They really like that stick of his.
And I'm talking to them, and I'm talking to them. I say, well, the tabaxi, they seem like very kind people, and you are very kind, and you live on this world together, and you could. Family doesn't get along with each other. You're part of the same family. You're all part of all the life forms here, and I understand that family doesn't get along, but you are kind, and they are kind, and that's all that matters.
They say, oh, he is wise as well as powerful. And make an insight check. Nub.
Kill it, Nub.
Well, I mean, they don't seem like angry about the tabaxi. They just like they explain like, well, they're not like at war with them. They just have differing views, and as you kind of like look around, you see that like,
and I'm trying to explain. It's like, it's not, you're focusing so much on what makes you different, but you lose sight of what makes you the same, the similarities, both of the things that you love.
I'm sorry, Nub, but Augustus is going to have to come in here with a little bit of a little bit of sleaze. So I'm gonna bust in and be like, nah, those cat people suck. They don't know the true bounties of the great Tor and all that he gives us. And I taste some of the chocolate. Look, it's amazing stuff right here, and I offer them some. I'm like, but we're good with you guys. We love Tor and all of his bounties. We're here to like check it out with you. So let's forget about them crud balls up in the trees out there. We're on your team. We're the good guys.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm just trying to insinuate ourselves into them by throwing the tabaxi under the bus.
Sure.
Nub's kind of like watery eyes.
Right.
21.
So yeah, they're like, oh, this guy gets it, and like they're all sharing in your cocoa powder and with you, and it's kind of like melting into this goopy mess.
Yeah, let's go check out all of Tor's like gems and stuff. His rich bounty of goods.
And they're kind of like, oh yes, the people that arranged this meeting definitely sent the right ones. And around this time, there's a little hubbub up the path as another of these reptilian creatures comes like bounding down, and this one is festooned with baubles and like all kinds of like decorative doodads and trinkets hanging off him, and he's carrying like a gnarled staff, and on the end of the staff are like smaller versions of those bean pad things that you took, Stan. And he's also carrying like a small doll that is in the likeness of the Armenian people, and he seems very flustered, and he's kind of like pushing past these guards, and he's like, he looks you up and down. He's like, "I am Zert, Chief. You are sent by Black Forest." That's your production. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, "You come to see the glory of Tur?"
Yes.
He says, "Tonight we will have big feast, and then at the end of the feast you will climb Tur with a great warrior Gers and go inside, okay?"
Oh, okay. Oh, great, Chieftain. Thank you so much for this blessing.
He's like, "Oh, it is you who are blessing us." He's like, please, I do not wish to detain you any longer. Come inside."
I can't wait to see the inside of Tor.
He's like, "It is great honor."
Just see it though, right?
Yes, we travel there once a year. The tribes gather, and we around Tur to pay homage to the great volcano.
Most wise Chieftain, can we speak to someone else who has made this journey?
He's like, yes, actually. He's like, "Our great warrior Gers, he will accompany you tomorrow. He will be at the feast this evening."
And he's done it before. He's had experience and come back, right?
Yes, he is the one who travels there each year.
All right, good.
I'm gonna see.
This is just going over Nub Nub's head completely. He's like, he made it back, right? He got back, and I'm like, yeah, he did.
I'm gonna talk to this person. I don't know how to address him. Chieftain.
Chief, Sir Chieftain, Lord Chieftain.
Sir Lord Chieftain, King Emperor, I would like. Could I have a moment of your time to speak to you in private?
Yes, absolutely. He's like, the feast preparations are underway. You can join me. He's like, "Walk with me," and as he does so and turns to leave, like several of the other Armenian people actually like hoist up Nup Nup and like in praise, and they unless you don't let that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was gonna also make this joke of my character doesn't understand what private means, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go with you. It's like private. No, but anyway, if they're getting hoisted, my character is already preoccupied with the
awesomeness of the moment.
Oh yeah, and the other people, like as they kind of parade you through their midst, like you see like other people kind of stop, and they're like looking up at you reverently as they're leading further into their assemblage. And several other of these people will also escort Stan and Augustus to, they have like arrangements of mid-made, like, you guys were known to be coming. But, as you can, Fitzroy, you can walk along the path with Zert, who's kind of like, he's a little older and slower, but, he's heading up towards his domicile as well. What would you like to speak about?
I'm going to grab one of the stone tablets out. And just as I'm pulling it out, we found these in our journey here. We wish no insult or injury. We just uncovered these and wish to know what they are.
And he kind of, reverently takes them and looks them over, and he's like, "Oh," he's like, this is wonderful." He's like, "I am even more convinced that your employers have sent the right people." He's like, "There are many ancient shrines that that once dotted the land all around that have become lost to us or otherwise inaccessible." He's like, "These are a text of our history." And he explains that it just kind of like there's sort of like historical documents, and they just talk about actually, let me find it in my notes. They just kind of describe the different like the yearly rituals or celebrations that they do, and how it's for like hundreds of years. Each year they kind of gather here and make a pilgrimage inside tour to pay homage to the spirit of the volcano. And it kind of explains how like deep in the earth there is like a massive core that continues to grow each year, and if they do not these are their beliefs, if they do not do this, then it will cause the planet to become unstable. But by appeasing the spirits, it kind of allows Tour to release its bounty that they will then use to feed on and use in their culture for the next year.
All right. Well, then, if this is history, well, then it was a privilege to be able to find these for you, and I just leave them with him.
Sure, yeah, and he's grateful. Yeah, I gotta get the sense like, and as you notice amongst all these people, their bodies kind of like give off a heat, like a dry heat, and maybe they're not really too fond of water, so these sunken shrines probably not that they
would be a bad place for them.
Okay, a little too steamy for them.
Once I've given him those, I guess I'll return to the group. I'm assuming the main person I would address about what just happened would be Augustus. I'll just tell you Augustus how it went down, and they were apparently just historical tablets, and I wasn't going to keep somebody's like historical texts. That's just weird. So
what did you trade for them?
Nothing, because it was already.
I got the feeling in here. The feeling that you get inside is all the trade.
Some kind of boon. A favor, even, sir.
He does an additional +4 of damage.
Permanently.
These kind of already belong to them, Augustus. I didn't feel like it was right to keep them, so I just gave them back.
You have to explain this concept of doesn't feel right.
Yeah, exactly.
Infinite wisdom, master, I suppose.
Get anything?
While he's trying to explain this, I keep looking at him like I don't understand.
With a bug knows you're wrong. That's fine.
All right.
He just suspects it. Stan knows you're wrong.
So they actually the Fitzroy, Stan, and Augustus, like, you're led to modest like huts that they've set up for you. Nub, you're taken to a much more extravagant area, unless you protest. But
I would actually protest them because I just want to be with the friends.
Okay.
Besides, it's like, who's gonna protect them if something dangerous happens? Like, I'm the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Make a persuasion check.
All right.
It's not even a joke.
With advantage, because they're very enamored of you.
Lucky feet.
Oh yeah! Wow.
Okay, so that is an 18.
Okay, so they kind of like seem a little bit skeptical, but at the same time they're like, but he has the red stick. It's like, he must have wisdom that we don't understand. And they do go and get you guys too, and bring you to where Nub is. He's actually got a stick. Good cosplay there.
I wonder if they're gonna offer us any of their salamander ladies. Yeah.
Well, you could try to make that happen.
Okay.
But
this once again just goes over Nub's head.
Yeah.
So as it is, the area where they bring you with Nub is like much like there's cushioned pillows and everything, and all sorts of servants, and it's like early evening by now. You'd been traveling most of the day, and they sort of gather around, and there's like people in like what do you call it, like ceremonial garb and things like that too. Mm-hmm. And they bring you all into like a gathering area, and like two of the creatures like sound these like big black iron gongs, and fires are lit and things like that. And they proceed to first groom and clean Nub Nub, and they kind of have like scented oils and things like that, and they clean his fur and brush him and pamper him basically, giving him like lavish foods and things like that. And you're in the area too, but they're sort of giving you a different treatment, like sort of like there's sort of like ceremonial what's the word I'm looking for, like dais that they have you lay upon, and they're kind of like beating you with stiff fronds, and like people are taking like different colored cocoa powders and just like flinging it in your face you're not even sure why.
Boy, this ceremonial garb sure looks like you're wrapping me up in ropes.
So at one point somebody comes over with like a pot of like a brown thick liquid and like just smears it on your face and makes different patterns on Stan, Fitzroy, and Augustus's bodies and things with this. And it's chocolate that they're doing with this.
I just try to be super into it and completely embrace it. I don't want to insult anyone, so I'm acting like totally. I've had chocolate smeared on my face
Sure.
before. I'm super into this.
What about Stan and Augustus? How are you reacting to all this goings on?
Until they get annoyed, I'd probably eat the chocolate. Like, off of my own face.
They don't seem too annoyed.
I make sure that they have to reapply a couple times. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, just as quickly as they're putting it on. How about you, Stan?
I'm just gonna stay pretty still, and every once in a while I'll twitch, in like a buggy kind of way, and I'm gonna say to Fitzroy and Augustus, we need to find ourselves some red sticks.
You look over and Nub Nub's just like they're feeding him grapes and stuff. His fur looks all like smooth and silky, like more than you've ever seen it before. How about you, Nub Nub? How are you taking all of this? Loving it.
I'm just eating, like, as far as the oils and stuff, it's like I live in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm used to being like dirty. So this is like, if the concept of clean is like, okay, like, all right, I smell funny, but then I'm just eating the food. Like,
absolutely.
Food, I am very appreciative of the food.
As quickly as you can eat it, they are bringing it up. And Fitzroy, you actually notice, like, being into food as much as you are too, like everything kind of has like a similar theme. Like you see people like rubbing down steaks with like that cocoa powder. They are like, there's like they have like a ladling out like a chocolate sort of aioli on things, and like everything has like a chocolatey theme. And amidst all this celebration is like a humongous black iron cauldron with a big fire under it. And as the night goes on, like sort of like tribal music is being played, like drums and things like that, and fires are lit, and there's a big kind of like wicker throne sort of thing that Zert has been sitting on this whole time. And as the night presses on, it kind of quiets down, and servants come out and they hand not everybody, but like all the important people, like Zerd Gertz is there. He's like a much larger one of these Armenian people, and he has like ceremonial armor and things like that. But they all hand you like a black iron cup, and and Zerd steps up to this cauldron, and he sort of begins speaking in language that none of you understand again, and make an Arcana check, Augustus.
Be awesome. Don't be awesome.
Well, what'd you get?
10.
That's enough to know that like there's something magical going on. You're not quite sure, but it's obvious that like he's sort of like infusing or doing something mystical with this.
Tastes like a ritual going on here. Yeah.
But you're not quite sure what. And then he dips his own cup into it and like just chugs it all down, and then indicates.
Wait, what did he dip it into?
The big cauldron. He's like, there's like a little scaffold sort of thing built on the side that he walked. I mean, it's probably like 8 foot tall, like huge.
Is anybody stirring the cauldron?
Yeah, there's like servants with like big bamboo poles sort of like around the edge of it.
Right, I've seen Conan, so I'm gonna watch them stir it, make sure no hands or skulls like float around.
There's that. But yeah, and you see him, like I said, he dips it in and then he nods and goes back to his throne, and a series of servants go and like fill up jugs with this stuff and go around and serve it all to you as well and the other assembled people.
Once again, curiosity is going to get me killed at some point. I'm going to just drink it.
Okay.
Just continue to embrace.
Yeah, it is delicious. It is chocolatey, and there's a hint of vanilla in there.
And roll a con save.
and you immediately seize up and die. It actually just tastes delicious. It is like a whipped kind of chocolatey vanilla drink.
Okay, after I drink it and it tastes good, and I like give myself a second, I definitely don't feel like I'm dying or about to fall asleep.
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna look around to my companions, my friends here, and just be like, it was good. Keep drinking it.
Cheers.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So yeah, this is just a celebration of laughter and people playing native games and things like that, like well into the night. And you're welcome to hang around and celebrate with these people, or retire to the chambers that they gave you, or if you want to speak to anybody, you're pretty much free to mingle after the initial has gone on.
I will mingle and snoop around and generally try to insinuate myself and see if I can pick up any kind of lowdown on what's going to happen or what the
Sure.
I'm still nervous. These people are going to feed us to a volcano, so I get any hint that like this is our farewell send off in any way.
Make a persuasion check, just to kind of ingratiate yourself with the general crowd.
18.
No, you're actually quite charming. They find you pretty personable. And they explain like, no, we gather every year, and we basically bring offerings to tour. They're like, your producers, explained that, you're experiencing different cuisine and different culture, and they just thought it would be interesting for you to witness this.
All right. The other two things I'll be trying to do at the same time, though, is I'm going to try to basically barter and pawn off some snake oil that I make as a scale ointment, since they're like lizards.
Oh my god!
Make a deception check.
15.
Yeah, there's a few people are like don't seem interested, but there's a couple of these Armenian people that are like they buy your pitch, and one of them's like we'll say his name is I can find him. Braza. He's like he's from a distant tribe that he's like, oh, one of the best parts about this gathering is getting to see all the different things that people bring, and it is especially exciting this year to have visitors from outside of our tribes here. He's like, what is this exactly that you have?
It's a moisturizer. And I give him like a whole spiel about how like it's really good for scales and molting. It'll turns your scales a pleasant color, and it'll come into I make sure to give it like it doesn't fully come into effect for like a week or so. So like an time frame I imagine will be gone by. And I'm just trying to basically barter and get whatever goods I can. I think of a value out of them.
He actually seems really interested, and he explains that like his tribe actually has traveled a long way where it's not as human. He's like, it often is a problem having dry scales. He's like, this sounds wonderful.
As you can see, I have no problem in that regard, and I'm like basically
just sweating profuse,
dripping.
You're giving your own testimonial.
I'll try to get in with some, get my tickle on with some of the ladies.
To that guy?
Just in general, like as I'm talking.
Sure, yeah.
This is not above carousing with lizards, basically.
Okay, I mean, there's a few less than upstanding remaining women that probably would find you somewhat charming in a breezy sort of way that you could probably spend the evening with and have fun. But yeah, Braza, he'll give you the equivalent of like, we'll say 15 gold pieces of like just rough stones and gemstones and things like that, because he particularly has dry scales, and he's like, he said it takes like a week. He's like, well, this celebration usually lasts several days, so I will not need it till then. That it sounds perfect. And we'll say a couple of Armenian women named Yakuz and Hara kind of escort you off, and we can fade to black on whatever you're imagining.
For sure.
Or we can go into detail. So it's like this is one of those tables you don't want to roll on.
Yeah.
And now, gratuitous detail. I'm good. Actually, I'm good. That's all. You don't have to. Well, he's off doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to approach the cauldron, make sure it's cool that I want to walk up there and fill my own cup.
They seem a little hesitant about that. They're like, one of them comes up to you and says like, oh, do you need more?
I just wanted to get it very fresh, very hot, straight out of the cauldron if I can.
It kind of like looks over towards Zerd up on his throne and make a persuasion check, or make a well, I guess you really do want to make a persuasion check.
I really do just want to get a hot, fresh cup of cocoa. Oh, I rolled a 19.
So yeah, you're speaking with him, and he looks over to Zert, who kind of like nods in acquiescence, and the one will accompany you up the scaffolding to the top of the cauldron, which is not quite as full now. Everybody's been drinking it, but it's still probably half full of like bubbling chocolate, whipped chocolate.
I'm gonna get my cup full, but I want to make sure to get like a really good smell of it, because that's, real world, the way I usually tell ingredients that are in something is a combination of smell and taste. So I'm definitely gonna get like a good whiff, try and figure out exactly what this stuff is made of, get a nice hot cup of it. I'm gonna nod in thanks for, very meekly, thank you for letting me get this, especially to anyone who was like, no, you can't go up there, it's sacred. I'll be like, oh, thank you. Really.
Do you want to employ your Horizon Walker abilities as well?
No. I'm gonna get my cup of stuff, and then I want to find the people who made the food we ate tonight. I'd like to figure out who was in charge of cooking and just go chit chat with them.
Sure. So make an Arcana check.
16.
So yeah, you definitely tasting chocolate, sugar, vanilla, and there's like your planar senses kind of detect like, is that elemental fire you almost taste in there? Like a little hint of elemental, like somebody just kind of kissed it with elemental fire. Tasting that, and that's giving it that certain that you don't even know what.
That's perfect. I don't know why, but it is great. I love it. All right.
And you wanted to go over to like the cooking area. Yeah, they basically have like crude like barbecue type things. Like it's just like an open container with hot coals and a grate over it where they're like cooking these cocoa rub steaks and things like that. A lot of grilled food. It's basically like a big barbecue thing. What would you like to do over there?
I just want to, if there's any cooking still going, or if they're cleaning up or anything like that, I'd like to just kind of scooch my way in, as even if it's just like the person who's cleaning up a pile of poo. I'll do that too. I just want to scoot my way in so that I can talk to them about what they put on the food and figure out what they're cooking. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they basically, they're happy to, talk shop with a fellow person interested in cooking. And they actually explain like, oh yeah, they have, they often just hunt meat, things like that. They particularly avoid what they call strider meat, because that's actually like a domesticated animal that they have as pets and things. So they're like, we definitely, we avoid those, and the furry folk in the jungle sometimes hunt them for food, which is part of a contention with us. But yeah, they actually look pretty skilled for just being like primitive people. They're preparing steaks and like rubbing it down with cocoa, and they have like marinades and things, like clay pots with spiced marinades and a lot of vegetables. But yeah, it seems pretty legit. You could probably pick up a few like interesting recipes and tips to file away in your chef brain from that, for sure.
So with me, I'm probably gonna be like recounting stories with the other guys there and kind of talking to them. And I'd say like, well, when I was a young Bopi, 296 years ago, I was something.
Yeah, and you've actually gathered like several of them around you are interested, including like young ones and everything, and they're just like totally enraptured by everything that you have to say. And there's like a special seat for you to sit in as well. And they're like, "Where did you get the red stick?" Like we have, it just seems so,
Well, and there's this old elderly tree, and it's sacred to us. It's you have all these regular trees, and then there's one that has this strange color about it, and we don't know where it came from. It was there long before the sages were there, and it's been it slowly has died out, and we've just been taking branches from it, only a small amount on occasion every year or so, and so that's where I got this stick. Was they crafted it for me as a warrior, as respect for me.
And so, one of them's just like, so the spirit of the tree granted you its bounty.
Yes. I don't.
They're all kind of like collectively like, ooh. And they're like, that is similar to how we look at the Great Tour, and all things on Armenia have a spirit that they grant us, that we live in harmony with the rocks, and they're basically animists. Is that a bow staff, like for real?
So this was, I actually got it from Japan. So if you go to Mount Fuji, they sell these at there's all these different stations if you're climbing it. And what you can do is you can get a staff there, or a stick, and then they're supposed to put a sear on it. Where's this one? This is, I forget, I believe it's, there's some, okay. Yeah, they did an engraving there, and you're supposed to get one for each station, kind of going up. But I did it off season, so I only this station was open.
Oh, okay.
The ones where you're supposed to get it all running up and down. But anyway, yeah, it's a Japanese.
Does Nub Nub's stick have any kind of adornments on it, or is it just like a straight up polished red stick?
Yeah, we'll say that it might have some markings on it from like the Elder, which is just like, oh, it's from this ceremony or something like that.
Okay.
And they're simple markings because they don't even have like a language.
Well, they definitely seem impressed, and kind of like I feel a kinship after hearing your stories of being close to nature spirits like that and things like that. Stan, is there anything particular you wanted to do during this celebratory feast?
No, I'm going to. It looks like everybody owns the stuff that's around, so I'm not feeling that interested in grabbing anything. I'm going to eat a little bit of things, but I'm not going to like eat too much. I want to keep myself limber and ready to go.
Okay.
You're a bug. Limber doesn't apply to you. You have an exoskeleton.
It's got hydraulic fluids in there.
Yeah. It could make me sluggish. Eating too much could make me sluggish.
I'm most impressed that he's keeping all 5 hands to himself here.
Yeah. It's tough, but it looks like, I mean, that one guy tempted me, but he is wearing all of his things, so I'm gonna say he definitely owns that stuff.
Well, I mean, it is at the same time, it is like a gathering of all these tribes who come here, so there's probably like little, doodad. I mean, it's still like a fair.
Oh, I'll definitely go around and grab some doodads,
probably,
trade some stuff for it.
There's probably like framed mirrors with their favorite musical bards in them, and little feathers with a pinch clip on the end, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'll go around and trade some of my my actual money for it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Actually gonna buy stuff?
Yeah, it seems like everybody's no, it just doesn't seem as open as normal. I'm getting a different vibe here.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, you could definitely come away with a bunch of like little trinkets and things for probably like, I don't know, 20 silver or something, like the equivalent.
Sounds good.
Of trade. I mean, just they're not like magic items or anything like that, but there's actually make a investigation check.
Sure. Ooh, I rolled an 18. What is that?
There is a. Let me find it in my notes. There is a.
That would be a 24.
Oh wow, yeah. So definitely, yeah. There is actually like a kind of one of the vendor stalls that's sort of like off the beaten path, and it doesn't really seem to be many people around it, and it's small, but there's like some interest, like different sorts of things there. You see like bottles of colored liquid and things like that, like little and yes, well, I guess you're cyanics, you wouldn't know, but there's like little implements that look quite different than what the other stalls have.
I'm going to talk to the person that runs the stall.
Sure, that is a man named Arashk, and he says, I see that you have discerning eyes. Like these, he's like, I come here every year, but often my kin do not seem too interested in what I have to offer.
And what is that?
He's like, I am an alchemist, and he's like, I spend my time between these gatherings traveling across the face of Armenia for various rare items that I brew into these potions that you see before you.
I've recently come across this moisturizer.
Apparently it is excellent for scales.
I am very interested in what you have.
So yeah, he has a selection of just some not super rare stuff, but I mean he's got some healing potions available.
All right.
And he actually he's like kind of like looks you up and down, and he seems you don't often see outsiders like this, and he's like, you might be more interested in this than any of my people generally are. And he crap, where'd it go? Oh, and he produces a sort of it's like a little round glass potion vial with like a clear liquid, but like on top of the clear liquid is sort of floating like a cloudy white vapor. He's like, this I had to travel clear to the other side of Armenia to gather the ingredients, but if you imbibe it, it will give you the ability to fly.
What?
I try not to look too excited. That sounds nice.
Yes, he's like, generally I only, the only time I sell things like this are to the occasional rare visitor to our planet, but I bring them here every year in case any of my kin wish to, but they never do. He's like, you do seem interested though. Is this something that might be of interest to you?
Yeah, now I'm all done up still with the cocoa and all that stuff, right?
I'm sorry, glitched out for a second. What's that?
I'm still done up in all the cocoa stuff, and
yeah, unless you cleaned it up. But yeah,
I didn't.
You have like cocoa woad on you.
Yeah, I will be traveling soon, so anything that would help me in that would be good.
Sure. He's like, I can sell this to you for the equivalent of 350 gold. He's like, it is very difficult to make this.
I think we should have that. Yes. I'm going to kind of paw through all of my secret pockets and things, and gather up the bits from my stash of the treasure. I'm trying to add it up.
Well, I don't think anybody even knows how much you have except you, so they'd really never know.
Yeah, this is true. So I'm gonna I'll take out some things that I have, some money, and then like a whole bunch of other things that I'm willing to part with that I think will add up to close to the price.
Yeah, he actually seems more like impressed by like gems and things like that than.
Oh, I've got some of those.
Yeah.
Great. All right, so I will be able to do that. Would you throw in some of the other little ones, like healing potion or such?
Like the healing potions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could basically he has several of those, or you could probably buy those for going 50 gold each.
Okay.
He's probably got 5 or 6 on hand. Say 6.
Great.
And then the other things are just basically healing kits, that they're just like herb packs and salves and things like that.
All right, I will get that. Excellent. So I just keep taking things out until I think there's a quantity of stuff there. That looks good.
This is a good pile. I'll trade my pile for your pile.
All right, so yeah, you can have yourself a potion of flying, and as many potions of healing up to 6 that you wish to buy.
Okay, I think I can only get 3.
Darn.
You know what? I'll mention. I can't shout far enough to Fitzroy or anybody, but basically I'll go back and then come back with whoever else wanted healing potions. I'll grab some for them as well. So
yeah, I mean you can find your companions easily enough if you'd like. And you guys are welcome to go back there with them and see what else.
I show them some of the things I got, and would you like me to direct you to where these are?
I have no need for any trinkets at the moment, though I do appreciate the value of the one you have there, the pointing at the potion of flight. That is very interesting. But I'll just go back to talking to the people who are cooking and chopping or whatever job they gave me.
Well, if no one else is interested, then I'm just going to buy 3.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as the night winds down, the people start to go back to their huts, in various states of sobriety and whatever, and you guys do the same, and just gotta find my notes here real quick. Where did it go? Okay, so yeah, you guessed this. You can probably wake up in the morning with your 2 reptilian ladies if you like. Cut out early if you want.
You guys all wake up in a cage over the volcano.
Very hot when you wake up. But no, you do. Actually, in the morning, you are woken early by a thunderous rumbling that shakes the ground. And gathered at the foot of the path leading up the slope of Tour, the Armenian tribes people kind of await. So, I don't want take over what you're saying, but if you were to come out of your tent, you'd see the people are basically all kind of gathered around on the side of the path leading further up the volcano. Ahead on the path, you see Zert standing with a small group of Armenians. Among them is one sits astride a large bird reptile hybrid creature, and he's this is Gertz that you'd seen last night. He's got his ceremonial armor on him. And there's several Armenian retainers with him carrying banners and baskets of floral fronds. And as you sort of approach it, if you do, Zert speaks and uses thaumaturgy to his voice and booms out to the assembled masses. And he says, "In the before times, life was much more bitter and harsh. We did not know of the sweetness life had to offer. But Tur," and he indicates the volcano behind him, which booms and shakes and rumbles, "showed us the way. Deep in the ground its bounty lies, and we gather each year to pay respect. These visitors have come to witness that sweet bounty. As tradition demands, we will go to Tur, and the cloying treasure must flow freely to ensure our survival and that of all Armenia. And all the people kind of cheer and everything, and sort of urge you forward as well.
I'm in. I'm going. I'm ready.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay, so yeah, as you approach it, then Zert, kind of like steps aside and gestures for you to proceed. The retinue sprinkles the floral fronds on the path before this procession, which is led by Grutz and his retainers who follow behind you. And the path leads upwards to a cave entrance, and it's like oppressively hot at this point. Like there's actually like hot wind coming out of there, and they don't really seem affected by it, but I need everybody to make a Constitution check for the heat. The DC is only 5.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. 9.
11.
All right. 3. You saw that fur, man.
Yes.
I got a 4. I have a -1.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you actually feel a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Just from heading into this thing.
I'm like leaning on my stick, like.
And one of the retainers actually kind of like props your arm up and stuff. He's like kind of encourages you to go forward. He's like, you can do it, strong one. He's like, you have the red stick of power.
I'll blast Nub Nub in the face with cold air from Prestidigitation.
There you go, nice.
Ask if that helps. Does this help? How about it now?
Thank you, Augustus. I'm feeling a bit better now.
And
it's like the when he hits me with the cold water, it's like the steam's kind of like coming off. It's like the trail, like it's evaporating.
Spurs are getting all matted again.
It says I can chill 1 cubic foot of non-living material for an hour. So why don't I get a big rock and just make it really cold and give it to him?
1 cubic foot. You're pretty small. That might even chill him out for the whole hour, right?
Yeah.
Like, could he be that 1 cubic foot of matter?
I don't it's non-living matter, so we have to kill him. We'd have to kill him first. But
do you say that? I'd chill him out, but we'd have to kill him first.
I mean, I think we all know that he'd be real cold if he was dead. So.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you can definitely make a chilled rack for him to, or maybe you could make his staff chilled.
Yeah.
Or something. So yeah, that can.
Or it's like I have some clothes or something, like kind of the thing going over, like some furs or something. So you might chill that.
Okay.
While I'm at it, I'm gonna make sure to put a big target on his back, though.
And I don't notice at all.
Yeah. Sacrifice me. So the cave tunnel is it's lit by braziers, and there's a very strong, sweet scent in the air. And the tunnel leads deeper into Tur, and you travel down. Not too long, maybe like 15 minutes, and it's just kind of like once you've gotten out of sight of the people, they kind of they drop like sort of the pomp and circumstance. They're not like putting rose petals in your way anymore. It's just kind of like for the crowd. And up ahead, you see that the tunnel opens up into a larger chamber that's aglow with light, and you step out onto, and it's basically like a ledge with like a winding path that leads downwards. Ahead you can see the open sky. This is actually like the center of the volcano, and there's no giant walk on there. I'm sorry, Anthony. But down below there is like a huge stone obelisk, and it depicts like a multi-armed humanoid whose body is sort of like covered in all those bean-shaped pods that you've seen on the trees and on Zert's staff. And I think we will wrap up there before we get too much further into it. But and there's also like a large, a huge pool essentially of bubbling chocolate liquid down there, molten lava chocolate.
Molten chocolate doom.
Yeah. Down there as well. So we will pick up next time on Ingest Quest. So I'd like to thank all the players for coming along on this culinary journey through the stars with me, and everybody watching live and that might watch later. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.